Hi, ladies. Shari Pheasant here to talk to you today about emotional hijacking. Look, your brain is made up of a bunch of different parts, and each one of those parts has things that it does. We've all learned recently in the last decade or so that the frontal lobe, right, the critical thinking happens in the front of your brain. Did you also know that you have a critical faculty? It's like a big wall. It's a barrier that's in your head, and it says no and doesn't let things in. You have your subconscious in the back that says yes to everything. Doesn't matter if it's the truth or not, right? And you also have this cool little piece called the amygdala. The amygdala is where your emotion happens. And when you have an emotional hijacking, I like to refer to it as an amygdala hijacking. It's like a little puffer fish. It looks very harmless. It's round. It's like this. And all of a sudden, emotions get out of control. You have an emotional hijacking and your amygdala goes poof, just like a puffer fish. And then no part of your brain works. Now, the problem with emotional hijacking when it's happening at work is it makes you feel like you're out of control. You can't think straight. You can't make proper decisions, which means you also can't communicate clearly what's going on. It will cause you stress, both short-term and long-term. When you experience an amygdala hijacking, an emotional hijacking, it wears on your entire body. Not good for high blood pressure, etc. But really, in the moment, stress will give you the frown on your face. It tightens everything up, and you are not thinking clearly. And this is going to destroy your credibility. Once you destroy your credibility by getting emotional and saying things that you probably shouldn't, or doing things or looking a certain way, right? It's not going to be good for your career. So it's really important to you that you understand who you are from the inside out so you can prevent the emotional hijackings. When you understand how you show up and how intense you are to other people in different aspects, for instance, of how you handle problems and challenges, how you influence people around you to make decisions, how you deal with the pace and consistency of your environment, and most importantly, how you handle problems. So you have a certain a style of how you do things. And when you have an emotional hijacking, there's a specific way that you can help yourself, right? Decrease this, stop this, end that from happening. And so why you do what you do also is important for you to understand, because the why comes from the inside. Why I get up in the morning, why I'm motivated, why I'll go all out and nonstop. What motivates me? For instance, for me, my motivation is intentional. I love having purpose. I love to be very resourceful. So I love to use, it's like a challenge for me. How well can I use my time and resources and talent, etc.? It's what makes me a really good business coach, by the way, is I'm very efficient minded and I'm very purpose driven. I'm also very receptive. So as a change agent, I like new ideas. Now, I don't necessarily rush towards them. Because of my experience, I know how to have behavioral flexibility. And instead of rushing because I see a shiny object and I really want to try something new because the current thing just isn't working, right? Then I stop and think, is there anything that proves that this could be accurate? Let's get some other people involved, etc. So that's my behavioral flexibility, because I understand, and it also helps decrease my ability, or not decrease. It also helps increase my ability to understand an emotional hijacking before it even gets to its fervor, right? Before it ever even really shows up on the outside. Because I've spent over a decade doing the studying and the work as a master axiologist, I understand behavior before it even shows up, so that I can alter that and change the dynamics of what's really happening in my life. I want you to have the ability to do that as well. Now, EQ, emotional intelligence, is also important to that. That's an area that I work in as well. And I want to tell you that if you're aware, you know, 2 ears, 1 mouth, we hear that a lot. And that means we should listen twice as much as we speak. And yet I believe most of us, and I've still watched myself on this as well, that to make sure that I listen twice as much as I speak. When I am aware and I find myself carrying the conversation, I will stop, slow down, ask questions, again and again so I can get the other person to engage as well. And I think that's really important because we learn more when we listen. Leaders listen first. I'm throwing it all at you, ladies, gentlemen. This is what it is. So I want you to be aware. I want you to make sure that you can take time to step away and refuel. That's going to be really important to you. 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes is not an inappropriate amount of time to wait to resolve something when you're at work. I think it's a respectable amount of time for you to step away and think through some things to allow your emotions, right, your amygdala hijacking, to decrease. So I think also what you can do is practice proactive empathy. I love talking about advocacy in a company. When you can teach your team to be advocates for each other, especially when one of them isn't in the room, it's just amazing what happens with the team dynamic. I'm working with a big financial company and a financial team in the high financial district. Did I say the word financial enough? They are a high performing team, yet there's some misunderstandings within the team. And so it's really important that we've opened that up. We've given a safe place for everybody to speak. We've done a SWOT analysis. By the way, that's really easy to do when you come into a team from the outside, like I do. Very hard to do a SWOT analysis from the inside. A lot of the times the people sitting at the table are concerned about retribution, after effects, how people perceive them, if they speak up and stand up for some of the things that they've been quiet about. And this team at Ameriprise, they have more than half of them. If we look at their how in their scientific behavior, they squash it down. So they're quiet, so there's no confrontation. They give. Like when they want to do something, if the manager or owner doesn't want to do that, they stop talking and they just comply, even when they don't agree. And so when you have more than half a team doing that, it's really important to be the agent of change for advocacy and talk about advocacy. And really fun. I always say, look, if I can change your team in one day, if I can decrease the tension, the misunderstandings, the miscommunication, the inability to engage with each other by 50% in one day, would that be helpful to you? I've never had a no answer. And then my response is, I can do that. So it's just amazing working with predictive technology, how we can understand people's behaviors, we can understand why they do what they do, and we can understand their value systems. I think that's the biggest thing that and emotional intelligence is so important. It is very much about energy in the room. And I don't want to take away the importance to that. I just want to add to it that when you understand a person's value system and it aligns with your company's value system, it's amazing what happens with engagement and innovation in the company. And it's not something that's easy to do, right? Because values are definitely beneath the water, kind of like the why we do what we do. You can see how people behave. We get 50 to 60% accuracy on our observations of behavior. This team as well, we had a new member of the team and their perception of her behaviors was absolutely inaccurate to her true behaviors and why she was doing what she was doing. And so the minute we uncovered that, the dynamics and relationships on the team absolutely changed. And I don't know how to explain to you the magic of it because it's not magic, it's science. But when we can take people's scientific data of how I handle problems and challenges, how I influence people, how I respond to the pace and consistency of an environment, and how I respond to rules and guidelines set by other people. When you can understand that on a team and you can expose that in a report, there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. It just is what it is. And I think that's the magic of it, right? Is because once it is what it is, then we just do what we do and we fix what we fix and we adapt how we need to. Behavioral flexibility is the new skill set that is of value in organizations. Understanding, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. By the way, I'm DEI certified. I have a lot of certifications because it helps me understand humans. I firmly believe and know from my experience that we are diverse. We are diverse beings. We are diverse beings. And it's really important to allow us to be uniquely and authentically us. That's when we're at our best self. So that's what I love to do. In fact, my women's event this September, the Lead Your Legacy women's training, leadership training, is happening here in Reno. And we are going to do a lot of these things. We're going to help you understand, right, how to develop your personal brand, how to navigate office politics, how to negotiate for your salary and benefits. Look, women still are not being paid the same amount that men are for the same kind of work. In fact, we're being paid less for more work. And that's not saying anything bad on the men. So I want to be really open and clear about that. That is just looking at us as a whole of how we're doing things. We're not speaking up and we're not changing it as much as it's not being changed. And I think a lot of it is that people don't even realize it's happening. So I want to help you at this event learn how to manage difficult conversations. I'm going to show you how you waste time. So one of the cool things about scientific data is it comes with certain styles, and those styles have certain behaviors which lead to certain time wasters. And so when we can identify your 4, 5, 6 time wasters, I like everyone to start with 1. How can I find you an extra half hour a week? What if I could find you 2 hours a week? Would it be worth it to you? We're going to do that at the Lead Your Legacy event. We're going to uncover your time wasters. We're going to help you strategize, and you're going to leave with a workbook that you have a plan for what you're going to do over the next 12 months. So please, I hope to see you at the event. We've included 90-day training program where you get videos every week, and it kind of guides you through some activities that help you get to know your scientific self. So by the time you come to the event, you have a clearer understanding of who you are from the inside out. Now, not everybody's going to be able to do that work, and that's okay. Because when you're on a team, it's the same thing. Not everybody does the same amount of work at the same time. And so we have a different skill set in our minds. We have a different mindset. And when everyone comes to the event with a different level of knowledge and experience, it makes it a real life setting. And we're going to take you through several real life settings and teach you the strategies that work best for your unique self. You will leave with team activities, things to bring back to your company or your business, your team, that you can choose to utilize that's going to help change things for you. We're also going to talk to you about strategies for delegation. That's one of the biggest time sappers I see is as leaders, we don't have time to plan. And when we don't have time to plan, then we ask last minute. And I don't know about you, but for me, I used to ask last minute, but about 8 years ago, realized how painful that was for other people. And so I have started really learning to back up. And if I can't give somebody time, I take it on myself. Now, that also leads me into the spiral of not delegating enough and having too many yeses. So it's a fine balance that you always have to look at and consider and revisit. Kind of like exercising. We go to the gym for a while, then we don't, then we do, then we don't. Eating well, we do, we don't, we do, we don't. That type of thing, right? So that's where the 75 hard came from, is we're learning to recommit because we realize that we're humans and sometimes we just slip off. Right. I also want to talk to you a little bit about leadership in male-dominated industries. One of the companies that my husband and I own is an automotive and maintenance and repair shop. That's the industry my husband comes from. And long ago, I told him, I was just so impressed with how intelligent he was and how much he knew. By the way, our son built his first engine at 9. And as of this year, he is a world-class technician according to ASE. And so he's 36 out of 250,000. So very proud of that technical knowledge that our family has. And I don't have that. I did change oil at our shop one time just to show the guys I'm willing. I can change a tire as well. And I can look at things and understand. We talk about a lot of things as well. I'm really into ADAS now. I think that's really the future for our industry. I'm the business expert. So I know how to scale a business, to market and to build a brand, and how to get a team to connect and understand each other so that there's less babysitting for the leaders, less frustration for the employees, more connectedness, advocacy for each other, which ultimately leads to more productivity, efficiency, right? And net profit at the bottom line of your business. So I've been doing this for a long time, I'm 60. So I started when I was about 25. I went into my entrepreneur journey And so I think that's 35 years, over 30. Let's just go with over 30 years, close to 35, that I have been in the entrepreneur space, and I have been through accreditations with Disney. I have been through accreditations with TTI International Insights. I have been through accreditations with CADIA, that's where I got my DEI from, and several other institutes to help me have the knowledge on board that I need, not only for diverse individuals and humans, but business. It's complicated. You go through different stages at different times. There's different leadership modalities that are needed and necessary. There's sometimes the leader needs to be the delegator, and other times when your business is first starting, like you're the specialist, right? That's how your business starts. You're the specialist. So even in a corporation, if you're working for a company, understanding your role and the dynamics of your role and the influence and the cross functioning that you can do with others is really imperative for your success. How to speak up at a table, how to set your own table. There's a lot of that talk right now, and I think it's really important. And I think advocacy is key, because if someone doesn't understand how to show up at a table and you see them and you recognize their talent is being squished and hidden, how can you advocate for that person so that we can bring their talent out? Because ideation happens when everybody's ideas are brought together, and ideation is what leads to innovation. And innovation in a company is necessary to stay on top and keep the customer service where you need it to be for a value-driven business where you're going to have customers for a lifetime. So lots we're talking about today, and I just want to let you know that I am here to help you create more happiness in your life, because more happiness in your work life leads to more engaged teams, more innovation, and you get to leave work and go to work and enjoy both of those things. Like, you're leaving and everything's getting done, and you're arriving the next day because you're happy to be there. You're not feeling like I'm going to walk into a mountain of work, and you're not leaving going, oh my gosh, I didn't get that done, and that's all you think about for the whole night, right? So I hope that you'll join us at the Lead Your Legacy Women's Training event this year. Bring your team with you. We have corporate offers so that you can have a corporate table. You all sit together. I've got women who are certifying that are going to be there assisting me so that we can really dig into great activities with all of you ladies. I'm really excited that we have a first female president of the Reno Rodeo coming, Miss Carrie Ann Sattler is coming, and she is going to talk to us about being a woman in a man's industry, a man's world. A rodeo is certainly that. She has been a national sales manager at the Pepper Mill, so she has really succeeded well and is now with Apothecary Sorella. So it's a wonderful company, a makeup company, a national company, and she's doing a lot as a national sales manager there. So I think you're really going to love hearing from her, as she is of the new generation, and she is ready to tell you some secrets that you need to know. We also have an MC, Kylie Hill, who is our Miss Rodeo Nevada currently, and she has been promoting the sport of rodeo for years. She is a Western woman, and we have her coming. If you'll notice, there's a theme, ladies, right? Part of my brand is that I'm the queen of horsepower. And so I have horses, I ride horses, I have a shop that's Horsepower and Wheels. And what I really do is work on the horsepower in you and your team. So having a Women Go Western night seems perfect for our event. These two ladies, Carrie Ann Sattler and Kylie Hill, are going to carry my brand, the theme of Western, right? Westernness into our event. And we're going to have a lot of fun line dancing, dressing up like cowgirls. Don't worry if you don't have stuff. We're going to have hats for you. We're going to have boots for you. We're going to have all kinds of stuff for you to play with and take pictures of. So I want you to sign up today. I want you to make a commitment to yourself that you are going to invest in you, that you are going to allow us to pour into you with our 90-day program, with our 2-day event, with access to training that you can go back and look at so you can remind yourself of the things that you've learned. We're going to give you takeaways that you can go back and implement in your company right away. And we're going to role play and actually have situations that we put you in and show you how you can navigate office politics, negotiate your salary and benefits, develop your personal brand, manage difficult conversations, and time managed so that you have more time. I'm really excited about this event. It's our 4th annual Lead Your Legacy Women's Leadership Training event. It's here in Reno at the Grand Sierra Resort, and we are in the Nevada room. So please join us. We'll also give you access to a private group online so that we can continue to stay in contact with each other. One of the things that's come over the last 4 events that we've done is that the ladies really stay connected. There's some great friendships and mentoring and resourcing outright, helping each other that's happening with the ladies that come to this event. It's not your typical women's event. It's not your typical women's event. It's not your typical women's event. You are going to leave this event with so much value and so much understanding about yourself and how you show up, how others perceive you, what you can do to change those things after you've attended this event. When you go through the 90-day training program that we have, you're going to have assistance every week to be looking at your scientific self, to understand how you communicate, how you don't. What's your value to the organization? What's your behavior hierarchy? What seems to be really important to you that you do well? And what are the things that maybe you don't do so well that you could use some help on? There's a lot of this information that we have for you. And the minute you sign up, the minute you buy your ticket to this life-changing training experience, along with the 2-day event, right? You are going to start to understand you better. We're going to send you a link so you can immediately take your leadership DNA assessment online. This is your predictive technology that we use. It's 1,000% accurate. I love it. I used it for years with thousands of people and hundreds of teams. And I'm really excited to offer this to you ladies. So we're going to dig out and identify your how you do things and why you do what you do. And then we're going to look at what the integration of that is. So we'll get into how there may be conflict in your own behavior and your why that you have inside yourself. Because what I want to teach you is that there's 3 types of conflict that we can have as humans. We can have the me. So that's the one I just talked about, right? That's when we have a conflict within ourselves, right? So my conflict is that I like to do things really fast and get through them really quickly. And I want to be very intentional. And so sometimes my intentions are not matched with my quickness. And so I have to slow myself down in order to meet my real purpose and my intentions. And so I understand that about myself. I know how to identify when that's happening. And no, I didn't before. I was worldly trained that I was not enough. I was not smart enough, dumb enough, pretty enough, ugly enough, skinny enough, fat enough, tall enough, short enough, any of that. I put myself in a foster home in 10th grade and I struggled with my identity. That's probably one of the reasons I spent the last 25 years helping people with their identities, is understanding not just who you are, but how you show up to other people, right? That's a pink elephant in the room. Sometimes we think we're one thing and people see us in an entirely different way. And so this learning, this training, this event is going to show you how to show up differently, how you can understand who you are and what your greatness is. And when you can shift those things, like I was able to shift those things, you'll become more successful in your messaging, in your influencing, and in understanding what's going around with the people around you so that you can connect better, align better, and get more done of what you want to get done. So, I'm really excited about the event. I'm really excited about you coming, and I can't wait to see your name on our attendee list. So please sign up today. Let's get going. Let me pour into you. Let my team help you understand who you are, how you show up to others, and what your unique greatness and value on a team is. So I'll see you at the Lead Your Legacy event this September. Don't miss it.